What's happening, Marina Squad? Nick Couch coming to you. So we are on. I didn't write this. I have a whole page of notes. I didn't write this. We are on day 37. Day 37. So we have 63 days till Keto. Not Keto. I'm so used to saying Keto Academy and more. Till Hacking Better Louisville. This is a first of its kind event. We are used to having Keto Academy and more. And Keto Academy is 1 day, and then more is typically 3 days. So we're used to 4-day events at Prove It. This is going to be basically Keto Academy and more compressed into 2 days. It's going to be intense. It's going to be 10x. It's going to be massive action, which is our topic of the Zoom today. Grant Cardone has a book. Grant Cardone is famous for the 10x. 10x. What's 10x? So let's talk about that. Grant Cardone, the 10x. His airplanes, he has private jets. He has a whole fleet of them. Like, he didn't just buy one, he bought 10. Let's stay muted, everyone. I'm going to change that. So he has a whole fleet of airplanes, because like he could have bought one, but like that's small thinking. He bought 10, so he has a whole fleet, and he uses those. You can charter flights on the 10X Airlines. So Grant Cardone was a broke car salesman, into drugs, alcohol abuse, all kinds of stuff. He changed his life. He created the 10X rule. Not that he created how you do it. Not that he created like the 10X rule. Like, he created the content and the teaching of the 10X rule. He's famous for it. He is a massive action taker. And for those of you that have known me for a while, you know that my nickname with Brian James is Massive Action Couch. Everything in life is massive action. How did I quit a 6-figure job to do Prove It full time? I took massive action. That was one of the first success books I read in 2015, 2016, when I started my journey with Prove It. The 10X rule is just like, a lot of people have goals. Like, I want to make $100,000 this year. Why not set that goal at $1 million? 100,000 times 10 is $1 million. Because what will happen is, if you set that goal at $100,000 and you hit it in May, you're going to just coast through the rest of the year. Whereas if you set that $1 million goal and you hit the $100,000 in May, you're going to keep hammering June, July, August, September, October, November, December, trying to hit the $1 million goal. What if you only hit 700,000? It's okay, because you smoked your 100,000 goal. What if you have a goal to help 10,000 people? Set that goal at 100,000 people. What if you fall short? What if you help 70,000 people? You're still doing more than if you were to set that small goal. Set big goals. Set big goals. Set massive action. Like, try and do a lot in a day. Like, I 10x my days. Like, I've already been to Starbucks. I've already done some personal development. I've already re-listened to the 10x rule. So I 10x'd the 10x rule. So I own the 10x audiobook, and then I own the summary of the 10x audiobook. So instead of reading the 10x rule for 8 or 10 hours, I can recap it in 40 minutes. So I already recapped the book. I've already 10x'd my morning. I've already 10x'd the amount of coffee I drank. But you got to just 10x everything in life. Because what happens when you go from average thinking to 10x thinking, it starts establishing your action and your thinking for the day. It increases your courage, and it dissolves your fear. Like, if you take 10x action, you get 10x results, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can do 10 times more stuff. I can help 10 times more people. I can make 10 times more money. I can have 10 times the quality of life. One of Grant Cardone's sayings, and if you have little kids in the room, stick your fingers in their ears. One of Grant Cardone's sayings, he actually has wristbands, like those little rubber elastic wristbands, that became popular in the early 2000s or late 90s with the WWJD, What Would Jesus Do? I think that was the first ever of those rubber bracelets. I have one here. So these little rubber bracelets, Grant Cardone actually sells those little rubber bracelets so you can have it on your wrist for a reminder. he has a little saying called "Don't be a little bitch." Don't take any offense to that. I'm not the one that came up with it. Grant Cardone is. So if you have a problem with that quote, take it up with him. But it's true. Like we coast through life. We do average thinking. We don't think that we can accomplish big things. Like no, most of us don't think that we can be uber successful, a top 1% thinker, or a top 1% successful person in the world. But what I can tell you is every celebrity, pro athlete, Olympic gold winner, Michael Phelps, like every super successful person used 10x thinking. They used 10x action taking. They used some version of 10x, whether it was before Grant Cardone wrote the book or after it. They were taking massive action. So I wrote down a list of some names here. Most of you should know these names. If you don't know them, you're living under a rock. But I want you to think about it. Bill Gates, owner, founder, CEO, the guy behind Microsoft. Do you think he used 1x thinking or 10x thinking? Most days he probably used 100x thinking. Warren Buffett owns Berkshire Hathaway. He's one of the wealthiest, top 3 to 5 in the world. I guarantee he used 10x thinking. Jeff Bezos started Amazon.com in his garage selling used books. He owns the most successful company in the world. They're taking over. They bought Whole Foods for like $16 billion. Like he was the richest man in the world, but I think his divorce might have knocked him down a few spots. But anyways, that's off subject. Steve Jobs, who's not even alive anymore, he left a legacy behind. Apple is the most cash wealthy company in the world. Apple was the first company to be valued at $1 trillion. Do you think when Steve Jobs was building Mac computers in his garage out of plywood, he ever thought that he could achieve what he achieved with Apple? Do you think that Steve Jobs ever thought that he could die and leave the legacy behind? I'm on an Apple iPhone. I've got Apple headphones in my ears. I've got an Apple computer in my pocket, in my lap, in my backpack. Who on here, raise your hand if you're using an Apple device right now. Like Steve Jobs has left one hell of a legacy. And it kind of goes to the Macklemore rap song, "You die twice. Once when they bury you in the grave, and then the second time is when the last time your name's ever used on earth." Steve Jobs has been dead for years. People still use his names. Steve Jobs created Pixar. Steve Jobs took companies that were nothing and turned them into something. But Donald Trump, he went from being a young entrepreneur in New York City to being president of the United States. Do you think he used 1x, 10x, or 100x thinking? Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live. He's a phenomenon. LeBron James, Madonna, J.K. Rowling, Beyonce, Jay-Z. The list of top successful, most successful people that we know goes on and on and on and on. They all use 10x thinking. Let's think about Prove It for a minute. Like literally, if you close your eyes for a minute, Prove It's doing something. Right now, we're on a blitz sale for Splash. Like if you aren't checking your Pulse app, you're going to be behind. You're going to miss things. Prove It's moving at 10 times, 10x speed. Like the products we're coming up with, the things that are happening, I guarantee you, Brian Underwood wakes up every day with 10x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x, millionx thinking. Brian Underwood is rocking it. He has a team of people that help him move at 10x pace. You can't do everything yourself. If you have big 10x goals, like if you want to make that $1 million a year, if you want to make that 10 million a year, whatever your goal is, if you're making $100 a month and you want to make 10,000 a month, like you might need to outsource some things. You might need to pay somebody to clean your house. You might need to pay Giant to deliver your groceries. You might need to stop taking 20-minute showers. So whenever I started focusing on 10x action and activity, I started a little personal thing I call the one song challenge. So what I do is I take my phone. I actually bought a little soap tray that sticks to my shower. I put it up as high as I could so it doesn't get wet. I literally turn on Spotify or Pandora and I play a random song. It might be a 2-minute song. It might be a 3-minute song. It might be a 5-minute song. There aren't many songs, many songs over 5 minutes. So what I found was I would get in the shower and I was shampooing and lathering up and bathing and doing all this stuff. I'd be in the shower for 10 minutes. I know this is a little too much information, but guys, you got to shave time if you're going to take 10x activity. I see everybody laughing and dying right now. But what I do is I hit play on one of my music apps and I put my phone up on the dish and I try and out race the song. I try and be showered and out and dried off before the song ends. I call it the one song shower challenge. So some of you are in the shower wasting 10 minutes. So think about it. If you waste 10 minutes in the shower, if you waste 10 minutes making breakfast, if you waste 10 minutes at the grocery store, if you waste 10 minutes scrolling Instagram, you quickly could be wasting an hour a day. An hour a day turns into 7 hours a week, turns into 365 hours a year. What could you do in your business with 365 extra hours of action and activity in a year? What could you do if you outsource things like grocery delivery, having a housekeeper, having somebody do your bookkeeping and your taxes, having somebody, there's a lot of things like paying somebody to change your oil instead of changing your own oil, paying somebody to service your car instead of servicing your own car, paying somebody to press your clothes instead of ironing them yourself. Like, guys, you start shaving time in places, you'll start finding time for other things. You'll find more time for family. You'll find more time for business. You'll find more time to do the things you want to do with your life. Life is short. It could be over in an instant. Like, don't think small. Don't play small. I actually have had promoters message me like, when are you going to slow down? Like, it's Labor Day. I'm sitting in my car in a parking lot teaching on a Zoom. Like, I'm not laying at the pool. I'm like, I've got 10x goals. I'm taking 10x action. I've got time chiseled out for family time. But like, I literally had people like, Nick, you work too hard. Nick, you do too much. Nick, you go too much. You drive too much. Take a break. Calm down. No, I wasn't put on this earth to drive an economy car. I wasn't put on this earth to be basic. I wasn't put on this earth to be average. I thought that because I grew up very blue collar. My dad was a truck driver. My dad never used 10x thinking. My dad used 1x thinking. So guess what I naturally thought? My dad's dad used 1x thinking. Like, life's too short. I don't drink. Like, I don't know the day, but last September was the last month I had an alcoholic beverage. Why? Not that I think that drinking's bad, but it serves no purpose in my life. Being drunk does not move my business forward. Being drunk does not give me more quality time with my family. Waking up hungover and being miserable does not serve a purpose in my life. I'm basically 1 year sober. Not that I had a drinking problem. I just choose to massive action my day. I just choose to make the most out of the 24 hours I'm given. There's no difference in my day and your day. I woke up, I put my left leg in my pants, I put my right leg in my pants, I button them and put a belt on the same way that all of you do. I tied my shoes the same way that all of you do. I have the same 24 hours that you guys have. Jeff Bezos, Brian Underwood, all of us, we have 24 hours in a day. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to spend 20 minutes in the shower or are you going to spend 5 minutes in the shower? Now, I see a lot of women on this Zoom. I know it takes a little longer for you to shave your legs or armpit, wash your long hair, dry it. I'm not making a direct comparison, but like, if you take 20-minute showers, let's go for 10. If you take 30-minute showers, let's go for 15. Let's go. Like, find ways to save time. Like, if you get your hair done every 3 weeks, try and go every 5 weeks. Like, there's ways to save time. Like, a goal of mine is to start getting one of the ride services, whether it's Uber or there's a shuttle service. Like, when I go to the airport, I want to start having somebody drive me there so that I can sit in the back and I can work. I can do things like I can maximize my time. There's ways to find and create more time in your day. You've got to get creative. You've got to stop thinking small. And the last thing I have is, when you start using 10x thinking and 10x action, you're going to do things that you never even knew were possible. You're going to achieve things that you didn't know could be achieved. You're going to earn more money than you ever thought humanly possible. You're going to help more people than you ever thought possible. You're going to get text messages from people like thanking you for showing up in their life, thanking you for playing big. Like, don't let those cows in the cow pasture affect your rhino thinking. We are the Rhino Squad because we charge forward like a 6,000-pound raging rhino with 3-inch thick skin. Like, if you go in the cow pasture and you want a hamburger, you can get it with a butter knife. The cow's got thin skin. Rhino's got thick skin. You're going to need like a rhino gun. You're going to need a rhino. Like, there's a reason rhinoceroses are tough animals. But that's the whole concept. If you don't understand the rhino concept, you should read the book Rhinoceros Success. If you haven't read Grant Cardone's 10X Rule, I highly recommend going on audible.com and downloading the summary book to get your toes wet, or download the full book to really get into it. And start looking at your life. Start journaling at the end of the day. Take a minute and reflect, like, where did you waste time? Where could you have shaved some minutes? Where could you have gotten more done? Like, I don't listen to audiobooks on speed 1. I listen to audiobooks on speed 2. So instead of the narrator talking like this, instead of the narrator talking like my 9th grade social studies teacher, the narrator's talking like Alvin and the Chipmunks and it's talking really fast. And I can get a 10-hour book done in 5 hours. That's how you 10X life. So guys, stop playing small. There's more out there. Get hungry. We're on day 37 of 90. So let's maximize our day. Let's get more people to Louisville hacking better. We've got a lot of time. Thank you guys for showing up. Make sure you send the recording out to your team, and I'll get it uploaded to the YouTube channel here momentarily. So with that being said, guys, your call to action is find areas in your life that you can 10X. Find time in your day that you can shave, and get back with me or the person you coach with and talk to them about where you can maximize your day, what you can do to take 10 times more action, what you can do to elevate your goals 10 times higher. But that's all I've got. Have a wonderful Labor Day. We will see you guys soon.